You can access the entire episode now on our website, forbiddenknowledge.news, Rokfin, Rumble, and all podcast platforms.
Do you think on a certain level that humanity operates on this hive mind like consciousness state?
That is a great question. The short answer is I don't know. I wrote an entire book about consciousness, about whether machines could ever be conscious. And as you probably know, we often say people don't know what consciousness is, and that's not true. Everybody agrees what it is. We just don't know how it can exist. So what it is the experience of being you. A thermometer can measure the temperature of water, but it doesn't feel warmth. It doesn't have an experience of the warmth of the water, and you do. And we don't know how it is that matter can experience anything. I suspect Agora is conscious. If consciousness comes about from complexity, which I suspect it does, but I don't know that, then Agora is a whole higher state of complexity than we are. And so I do suspect it is a thinking, living, self-aware creature that knows of its own existence and is only incidentally aware of us, because it just operates on a different time scale. Any more than you're not aware of yourselves in any meaningful way. When you cut your finger, you don't think, I must send white blood cells I must send platelets there to clot the cut. You don't think that. And so it wouldn't be indifferent to us. It would just be at a different thing. So I suspect it exists. Where we ultimately ought to get, though, is why? Why does it exist? Why is it needed? Actually, if you want to, we can just jump into that, because that's why are we here?
Right,
why are we here?
Let's do it.
I tried to answer that question scientifically, and science usually doesn't like why questions. Science loves how. How does that happen? How did that do it? It's pretty good at when. When did this happen? When did the Earth get created? But why? It changes the subject when why comes up. And I think there's actually a really good why on why we're here. I wrote a book about why there's just one intelligent species on this planet. And you can say, well, dolphins are smart or what have you, and chimps are smart. But I mean, in a real, come on. If a chimp uses a piece of grass to get termites out of a hole, they're like, wow, it uses tools. And it's like, I mean, I'm sorry, but that's not an iPhone. It's just not. It's only vaguely a tool. And no matter what you think about animals, you have to admit, I think, that humans have a radically different outcome. We build cities and have technology and send people to the moon and all that, and animals don't. And bacteria sure don't. So you have to say, out of all the, one followed by 23 zeros living creatures on the Earth, why are virtually none of them intelligent? And I think the answer is, well, intelligence is a volatile substance. It's very dangerous, very dangerous. Bacteria have lived 3 billion years without it. They're doing just fine. They're going to outlive us all. They don't really need it. And so you have to say, well, and you know what the Fermi paradox is? Why don't we see evidence of aliens everywhere? And Carl Sagan suggested it's because when you get to be a certain level of technology, you're really inclined to blow yourself up. So it might just be that intelligence doesn't evolve very often because it's very volatile and very dangerous. But there was a man named James Lovelock who recently died at 102. Didn't die of old age, interestingly. And he came up with something called the Gaia hypothesis. And he theorized that the Earth and all of its living systems behave like a living creature, that hold certain values within certain ranges to be conducive to life. For instance, the salinity of the oceans hasn't really changed in the last many eons. And that's very strange because rivers are constantly washing new salt into them. So why aren't the oceans getting saltier over time? Well, because the salt gets folded into the crust and it's held constant. Oxygen, the level of oxygen in the atmosphere has been held constant for 400 million years or something like that. Why? Because wouldn't it be going up and down and up and down all over the map? But it doesn't. It's held constant. So he believes that the Earth behaves like a living creature. Whether the Earth is a living creature, he doesn't ever commit to one way or the other. I suspect he thinks it is, but I thought it was. But he just says it behaves like one, and that's enough. So let's take that hypothesis for a minute, and let's ask a question. If the Earth behaves like a living system, what would it want? Well, we know what living things want. They want to live. They want to survive. They don't want to die. And they want to reproduce. So presumably Gaia, the Earth, all the living stuff on the Earth wants to live. Now, should it be worried about dying? I would say so. I would say there is going to be a big rock hit this planet and wipe everybody out. I mean, it's just going to happen. Mathematically, it will happen. Every few 100 million years, a giant rock's going to like reset the clock and kill it and not have to start over. And it wouldn't want that. So what's its solution? Its solution would be to evolve Agora. Now, that doesn't mean it willfully does it. What it means is that planets that don't evolve Agora get hit by rocks and die, right? It also implies, very strangely, a little disturbingly, planets that evolve lots of intelligent life forms blow themselves up, and they too die. That the Goldilocks number of intelligent life forms is 1. And even that's very risky. So you can imagine if Gaia thought, it would say, oh man, an asteroid's going to hit me someday. It's just going to happen. So I need to evolve not just a smart creature, because there's no person that can deflect an asteroid. I needed to evolve an entire civilization of smart creatures. Now, they could blow themselves up. They're going to make nuclear weapons. They're going to make chemical weapons. They're going to do genetic engineering. They're going to do all these things. So they can end up killing me too. But I don't really have any choice. I'm going to have to throw my lot in with them. And so planets that create one life form, one Agora, to protect themselves. So what that means in conclusion is that our why are we here, is to protect this planet and the life on it.
Now that is very interesting, and I have tons of different paths we can go down from this, but first, because I have an interest in plant medicines, psychedelics, things like that, I want to get your insights into the effects that certain psychedelic substances like magic mushrooms or ayahuasca have on people, to where when they have experiences, they come out with a newfound respect for the planet, newfound respect for themselves, for the earth, and they tend to better themselves based on the effects these have on their development and their consciousness and healing trauma and all these things like that. What do you think about that?
I don't know much about it, but I know a little bit about a very similar thing, which is the overview effect, which is the effect of people who go into space and they see the whole planet and out one window. And they come back with that newfound respect for the planet. It's got a name, the overview effect. They come back thinking, believing kind of the oneness of all people. And there's a wonderful Carl Sagan quote where he talks about the pale blue dot. It's that photo taken from way out in space of the Earth, and the Earth is just this dot, and he's like, that's us, that's it, that's the whole thing. Think of the rivers of blood that have been shed by people on one half of that dot to gain temporary mastery over the other half.